This is the Italian Real Estate Podcast, here to help you with the ins and outs and basics of Italian real estate, presented by ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com. Hello there, and welcome to another in-person edition of the Italian Real Estate Podcast, presented by ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com. Of course, we are back at it again, here, live in the flesh, with Marco Permunian. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I am doing great, thank you. It is such a pleasure to be here in person with you in Rovigo, Italy, in the town where your offices are based in this country. But in this episode, we wanted to talk about what it is like to purchase a car in Italy. There are many individuals who purchase a property in Italy and are thinking that they would like to have a car as well as another additional purchase to be able to get around and enjoy the country. So Marco, I think it might be worthwhile leaving the situation for dual citizens kind of maybe a little bit towards the end of the episode. But what is it like for a foreign resident to purchase a car in Italy? Is it allowed? Can they do it? Do they have the option even available to them?
So I think we have to talk about different categories of people. And the first category that I think it's worth mentioning is the situation of a non-citizen, non-resident. So somebody who has purchased, for example, a property in Italy as a non-resident. And let's not forget that it is completely okay and allowed for a non-Italian citizen, non-Italian resident to purchase a property in Italy, as long as there is reciprocity between Italy and the foreign country, meaning if the foreign country allows Italians to purchase in that country. But say that condition is met, then the foreigner can purchase a property in Italy, even if they don't intend to reside in Italy. Maybe they want to use it as a vacation home or maybe rent it out. It doesn't matter. So if you are a non-resident, non-citizen, then purchasing a car in Italy is not allowed. So a lot of people ask me, how can I get around? How do I do without a car? Well, if you're just visiting, unfortunately, there's no solution. You cannot put a car in your name. So you cannot register a car in your name. If you have family members, if they're willing to help you and register the car in their name, that could be a solution. But otherwise, if you are just going to be visiting by yourself and you have nobody who can help you, you can't really register a car in your name, in which case probably the solution that I generally speaking advise to take into consideration is renting one. Renting a car is of course much different than owning a car. Not only you can't purchase a car in your name if you don't reside in Italy and if you're not an Italian citizen, but also you cannot purchase an insurance, which is an additional, of course, problem. Now, of course, the situation is different for a foreigner who wants to become a resident of Italy. In that case, a car, a vehicle can be purchased, but again, only if you are a resident. And we have said it many times, to be able to legally establish residency in Italy, you need to have a visa and the residency permit that comes with it. So, for example, if you obtain an elective residency visa, otherwise known as the retirement visa or a student visa or the digital nomad visa or a work visa, any of these visas that allow you to establish residency in Italy from a legal standpoint, then you are allowed to purchase a car without any problems. Now, purchasing a car is not, of course, connected to you being a citizen or a non-citizen. It's just connected to you being a resident, with a few exceptions, because there is an exception to that rule, which I'll talk about in a second. But if you become a resident, you can purchase a property, a vehicle, and put it in your name, register in your name, and also purchase an insurance, regardless of your physical presence. You can be in Italy for less than the whole year, for example, to maintain your residency status. You don't need to be in Italy every day, every single day. However, it's highly advisable to be physically present in the country for at least 6 months and 1 day in order not to lose your status of resident, which of course is not relevant anymore for Italian citizens or dual citizens. For them, it's a little bit easier to leave the country for an extended period of time without losing their status of resident. So, which is why having dual citizenship is, of course, advantageous for those who qualify, and it removes a lot of issues. Now, I mentioned before briefly there is an exception to the fact that being a citizen is not relevant, which would be the situation of an Italian who resides abroad. So an Italian, whether it's an Italian born in Italy or a dual citizen, maybe somebody who was born in America and became a dual citizen, an Italian or a dual Italian citizen can register a vehicle in Italy in their name, even if they don't reside in Italy, as long as they're registered with the AIRE. And there were other advantages until recently of being an Italian registered with the AIRE, strictly connecting to the ability to have a tax discount connected to the purchase of a home in Italy. Now, unfortunately, the government has removed those advantages for Italians who reside with the AIRE, meaning that an Italian citizen residing with the AIRE until recently, and we have recorded episodes about this, was able to purchase their first home in Italy, and they were able to get a tax discount on the registration tax, which was going to be the 2% instead of the 9%, but this rule was removed. Now this rule, meaning the tax discount, is only available to people who move their residency in Italy within 18 months from the purchase of their home. So in short, if you are a foreign citizen who gains Italian citizenship and you maintain your residency outside of Italy and you're registered with the AIRE, at that point you can purchase a car in your name and keep the vehicle in Italy. Also, there are different rules for foreign citizens who want to bring their vehicles in Italy. Specifically, I'm talking about foreign citizens who become residents of Italy, or even EU citizens who become residents in Italy. You can bring your vehicle and use it, but for a limited amount of time. That is normally 1 year, after which you need to register your vehicle in Italy. So your vehicle will have an Italian license plate. Generally speaking, the ability of getting a loan or a lease agreement to purchase a car depends on your income. So if you have an Italian income, something that can be verified easily through documentation that you provide, and keep in mind that there is no credit score in Italy, so you do need to provide documentation showing your income every time you need to get a loan or a mortgage, whether it's for a car or for a house. You need to provide documentation every time, because there is no way to verify your so-called credit score, which is what makes it a little bit easier to get a mortgage, because it's quicker in the US. So in Italy, you do have to provide your financial documents every time you want to get a some sort of loan. But yeah, to go back to the question, you can get a loan to purchase a car only if you can provide financial documents that prove that you have an income. Generally speaking, foreign incomes are taken into consideration, but only as supporting documentation. So meaning if you don't have an Italian income, it's going to be very challenging for you to be able to get a loan to purchase a car in Italy.
Well, Marco, thank you so much for all of this information on purchasing a car here in Italy. Of course, if anybody's needing to get in contact with you and your team, how can they reach out to you guys?
People can contact us through our website, italianrealestatelawyers.com, or give us a call. Our number is on the website.
Absolutely fantastic. And of course, if you're interested in more about purchasing property in Italy, where to purchase property in Italy, and so on, be sure that you are subscribed to this YouTube channel as well as the audio only podcast. But if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, that means you're also automatically subscribed to the Italian Citizenship podcast, where we talk about legally making Italy your home. And of course, if you're interested in more about life abroad and living abroad, be sure to come over and check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Rafael Di Furia, or you can search for Not Your Average Globetrotter on YouTube, Google, or your favorite podcasting platform of choice. But of course, we have been here yet again with Italian attorney Marco Permunian, live here and in person in Rovigo, Italy. And I am Rafael Di Furia, and we will see you all next time for another episode of the Italian Real Estate Podcast, presented by ItalianRealEstatelawyers.com. Later.
Thank you.